La danza azteca, or Aztec dance tradition, is a tradition of central Mexico that has evolved since about 1535, where it mixes pre-Columbian traditions and spirituality with Roman Catholic traditions. And so it's a very holistic approach to prayer. It's kinetic. It's got energy of dancing, praying, making your uniforms. It's just a whole world of creativity and spirituality roll into one. I started when I was 19 years old, way back in '74, and as a young college student, I was looking for something that would fulfill a spiritual path that was relevant to me. Being Catholic, as a young mechista, a college student involved in the Mecha program, we were looking for something that was native to our continent. When the danza first came to the United States, all of a sudden it was like this incredible door opening to everything that we were looking for: indigenous, truly Mexican, and a living tradition. So we just fell in love with it. The most beautiful recent one, I can say that because 39 years of dancing, there's a lot of memorable moments. But the beautiful moment is when we have our ceremony in July at Chicano Park. We were dancing, and at one point, I look to my left, my wife is dancing next to me. I look to my right, my daughter's dancing next to me. I look to my wife's left, and there's my son, and to his left is my daughter-in-law, and in front of both of them is my grandson. And my entire family is moving exactly at the same beat, turning at the same time, moving our feathers at the same moment. And it's a very powerful moment where you feel like there's, it's like we're one, we're together. There's absolutely no separation. We are dancing together with hundreds of other people doing the same exact movement at the same exact time. Everybody's doing it in their own style. Everybody's doing it the best they can, but we're all doing this one kinetic motion exactly at the same time, making this what we call the energy of the dance. It gives us a sense of identity. It gives us a sense of pride. People don't know the difference between one dance or another. They just know when they see us, they feel this great sense of ownership of, this is our identity. This is something that we can be proud of. And it transcends generations, because you have, the Mexican community is not just this one big blob. It's not like Hispanics, boom, they're all the same. Because you have Mexican immigrants that are very much tied to Mexico. Then you have people like my kids that were born here and raised here, and their reality is here, Chicano. And then you have people who are the grandkids of those people. So you have all these generations assimilated. Some speak absolutely no Spanish. Some have never been to Mexico. Some couldn't tell you the difference between a taco and a burrito. But yet when they see the Aztec dancing, all of these communities feel like they belong together, like they're represented by this ancient tradition. I would say that one of my favorites is called Xipetotec, which means Our Lord the Flayed One, which basically symbolizes the earth in wintertime. All the trees lose their leaves, the flowers die, plants die, it gets cold. In the high altitude, in the high latitude, it snows, it's very cold. And so, there's like death apparent everywhere. There's no life. It's a time where it gets dark very early and it's cold. And so in the springtime, all of a sudden the earth, like a snake, sheds its old skin, all the decaying stuff, and new life bursts forth from it. New flowers, trees have leaves, animals have babies. And so the dance of Xipetotec symbolizes how we as human beings are intricately related to that cycle of nature. We are not outside of it. Like in our society, it's cold, you put a coat on. It's still cold, you turn the heater on. It's dark, you turn the lights on. And so we mitigate nature with all these external, artificial things that we have, that we enjoy. But like the people in Illinois or the people in the Philippines right now, when nature wipes things out, it's like you're no different than that bird or that frog or that spider or that cat. You're in nature. So this dance reminds us that we are part of the cycle of life, and that we are not immune to it, and that just as there's life and death, there's also death and life, and it's just a recurring cycle that we need to respect and protect. And that's why we protect the earth, because it's our Mother Earth. It's the one where we all come from, regardless of ethnicity or language or religion. My great grandparents spoke Nahuatl. My grandparents were not taught Nahuatl because at that time, and even today in Mexico, many people are ashamed. They're put down for being indigenous. And the worst thing you can tell anybody is, oh, you're just a stupid Indian. And so they weren't taught Nahuatl. We will always be outsiders, just like African Americans. And so even if we wanted to, and a lot of people try, to assimilate to the point where you're just I'm all American. If your skin color and your face and everything doesn't look like it, you will always be an outsider. And so that causes people to, like African Americans, it's like, well, if they don't want us, we want ourselves. We have to have our own culture. We have to have our own communities. We have to have our own traditions. Deep down in the back of your mind, there's like, well, that's great that Paul Bunyan used to chop trees in the myth, and Abraham Lincoln did the Gettysburg Address, but how does that relate to my grandparents? How does that relate to my great grandparents' experience and how they survived all of these things? It's like, here I am. I am the culmination of everything they did. What do I have to show for it? And what am I going to leave behind? So that's what the danza does for us. It helps us visualize, okay, well, I'm part of this chain that goes back thousands of years, and if I blow it and break, that's it. That's the end of that historic chain. But if I'm strong, my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids, my great-great-great-great-grandkids that I'll never know can look back and say, oh, yeah, one of my ancestors came from Mexico when he was 1.5 years old, and look what he did, and that's because of him. Here's where we are. And that's what danza gives us.